Hi, this is Freedom from Condo Planet. I want to welcome you to another episode of our video series on condos for rent in Mississauga. Today I want to address the question of, can your landlord end your lease at any time? Let's do a quick recap of leases for a moment because this is going to be very relevant to this question. Firstly, most of the leases in Ontario are for a one-year term. Okay? And tenants often wonder, well, what happens after that one-year term is finished? Do they need to sign a new lease agreement from their landlord? No matter how much your landlord might insist you sign new paperwork, you do not legally need to. According to the Residential and Tenancies Act, the lease that you signed for the one-year term automatically renews on a month-to-month basis. So that contract stays valid. It doesn't not expire after that 12 months. Okay, now if you want to know what you need to do to terminate your lease, I have a separate video on that here at Condo Planet. But for now, I want to focus on landlord's rights in terms of termination. Now, as a tenant, you can terminate, you may know, with 60 days notice from the commencement of your lease term. So if it's the first of the month, it's the first. So 60 days notice, written notice. However, landlords don't have the same privilege. And this is the important thing. Your landlord cannot turn around and just give you 60 days written notice to leave the premises, even after that one-year term is finished. They cannot do that by the law. They have to have specific reasons. Now, there are two sets of reasons. There are for-cause reasons, what they call for-cause, and then there are no-fault reasons. Let's address what this means. For-cause reasons for ending a tenancy refer to circumstances where the tenant's guest, or someone else who lives in the rental unit does something they should not do or does not do something they should do. Okay? Here are some examples of for-cause reasons for terminating a tenancy. Number one, inflicting damage on the home without fixing it. Number two, failing to pay your rent in full. Number three, engaging in illegal activity in the rental unit. And four, disturbing other tenants or the landlord. Okay? Now, with reference to these for-cause reasons that a landlord could use to terminate the tenancy, they need to file a form, okay? File a notice form to you that they are terminating the tenancy based on these reasons. So, for example, if you don't pay your rent in time, they file a specific form that goes to the Landlord and Tenant Board and to you, okay? That if you don't pay your rent by this date, you have to leave. Okay? However, if you address the issue that's prompting the landlord to take action, you don't have to leave. Okay? It's called a tenant's remedy. So, for example, in the case of not paying rent, if you pay the rent by the deadline, you no longer are required to leave the premises. Okay? I hope that's clear. Now, let's move on to the other set of reasons, what we call the no-fault reasons. These are triggered by the landlord exercising their rights of what they can do to the property. Now, there are three specific no-fault reasons for terminating a tenancy. Number one, the landlord is planning on doing major repairs to the rental unit that require a building permit and which can only be completed when the property is made vacant. Okay, so in other words, the landlord is planning to do some big construction property in the condo unit that you're living in, and they've got the permits, and there's no way they can complete this work with you still living there. So that's a no-fault reason that could prompt you to leave, okay? Or the landlord take possession of the property and thereby ask you to leave. Number two, if the landlord or a member of their immediate family or their caregiver wish to move into the unit, okay? That's another no-fault cause for terminating the lease. And the last one is if the landlord has agreed to sell the property and the purchaser of that property requires all or part of the property because the purchaser or a member of their immediate family or their caregiver wish to move into the unit. So there are very specific reasons that would trigger a landlord to exercise a no-fault reason. Okay? Now, I want to give you an example. Quite recently, a tenant called up Condo Planet. So it's an old client of ours, and was very upset because of a unit that we helped them find. The landlord turned around within 12 months, wants to sell the unit, and has issued a letter to our client, the tenant, saying they have to leave within 60 days. So naturally, our client, the tenant, was quite furious. he was really disappointed. He really wanted to stay longer and was being forced to leave. So he was very upset about all that. But what we made him aware of was that technically he didn't have to leave within 60 days, because until the landlord sold the unit and could provide an actual copy of the agreement of purchase and sale proving that the house was sold, only then would that 60 days begin. And it has to begin from the commencement of the rental pay cycle. So it has to be 2 pay periods. So the tenant was really happy to know that, because that allowed them to have more time to find a new place and to figure out what they were going to do. The bottom line and the point of that story is to illustrate that you really need to know your rights and responsibilities. We're always happy to help you with that here at Condo Planet, and definitely reach out to us for any questions or concerns that you have. Thanks for tuning in. Wishing you a wonderful day. Take care.